Hello everybody, this is Rick Navas. In this video, I'm going to talk about something that's I kept in my heart for a very long time because was not sure how to go about revealing this. And before I continue, I hope everybody's Easter was good. Everybody's enjoyed the resurrection of Jesus yesterday. And you probably can tell from the title of the video what this is about. It's about child abuse and how I regretfully let my former Bible teacher, my former shepherd, human shepherd, get away with it. This was back in 2015. This is around the time where I started questioning things, where I started getting very critical of everything that was going on. I remember it was very late at night, like I think it was like 8 or 9 p.m. I believe. And this was back when Camino UBF, aka Shepherd's Church, was still in Gardena on 16924 Vermont Avenue. This is before they got the new building. So we were going to have Bible study that day, or that night, I should say. And he brought his son along. His son is J. Andrew Rothrock. I forgot this. I think his son's first name was Joshua. I could be wrong. But we were gonna have Bible study, and I said, "Oh, I suggested to him, let's just bring our son with him while we have Bible study." I don't remember why he brought his son. I believe his wife couldn't or didn't want to watch over his son, and he didn't have a babysitter. I don't remember exactly why, but basically he had to bring his son that day, for that whole day. And because his son was like a baby, but now I think his son's like a toddler now, like 3 or 4. But basically, I was telling him, I don't mind bringing the son along because who else is gonna watch him? He's like, no, our Bible study has to be 1-to-1. And what he did was, the old building there was a parking lot next to it, is the parking lot of a warehouse place. That's where he parked his car. And so what he did was he literally left his son by himself in the car. And I let it happen. I insisted on him bringing his son with us on Bible study. But at the end of the day, I was an idiot and let him abuse his child. And that was wrong. And there were 2 witnesses to that event. It was Sarah Kim, who is now married to Mason Lindbergh, and Jackie Godoy, who is now married to Eduardo. Back then, I was questioning things, but I wasn't. Not only I didn't know how to refute what UBF theology was saying, but I didn't really put my foot on the ground, so to speak, or really stand up for myself. And I realized what I did was wrong. What I did was idiotic. It was stupid. It made no sense. There was no excuse for my shepherd to abuse his child like that. There was no excuse for me to let it happen or to say something about it. By say something, I mean really do something about it. And when time we finished Bible study, like an hour or 2 later, his son was crying. If you are a Clifford, Rothrock, aka Ty Rothrock's son. If you're watching this later on in the because or I want to say I'm very sorry. I should never have done that. I should have never let your father abuse you that way. Something could, worst case scenario, you could have been kidnapped. You could have been killed. And as a God servant, I failed you that way. I hope that you may find in my heart to forgive me. If you don't, I understand and I'm willing to accept that. And this video is me opening up and really coming out with the dark truth. And also, another thing I want to make note of is that this is before the old location had cameras. So, like I said, there was 4 people who witnessed this event. And this was nothing unique to UBF at all. Later on, I did research in that there was multiple cases of child abuse in UBF, ranging from child abandonment to even child molestation. There's even one documented case of incest. And what makes those stories disheartening was that I was a bystander. I condoned that for a time. This video is not meant to be a video where I get a free pass or anything like that. I do acknowledge my wrongdoing in this regard. I'm not asking for anybody except for his son to forgive me. I just want to get this weight that's deep down inside in my chest lifted off, to get this thought from the way dark corner in my mind out there. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only I'm not the only one who's ever done something like this, who has allowed a UBF member to abuse children in the name of Jesus Christ. If you feel guilty about something like this, or you put something like this in the back of your mind, it's not healthy to keep it bottled up inside. You should share it. Should you do it publicly, or a counselor, that's up to you. But I learned, the last few months I was there and after left, with that you should never keep anything bottled up inside, but also develop a healthy way of expressing those emotions, those feelings. So yes, El Camino UBF, Shepherd's Church, Gardena is not what it's all cracked up to be. They may be this holy image outside, but inside it's full of dusty bones. There's lots of crime, lots of darkness, lots of dirt that's been swept under the rug. Yes. So I want to officially acknowledge that I'm not completely out of the blue, that I'm not a complete victim of UBF. I was a bully victim, if that makes any sense. I was a bystander victim as well. That I was a victim of abuse, but I've also condoned abuse. In this case, it was very obvious that child abuse was happening in front of me, and I let it happen. So if you're a UBF member watching this video and you could be like, oh look, he did something wrong. Yes, I did do something wrong. Now you can say what you want, but that's fine. But I just wish that UBF would one day at least acknowledge that, have the heart and courage to acknowledge that something is wrong with UBF. That somebody did do something wrong, something terrible, had done things like me or something worse than me. But UBF quote unquote missionaries have done very awful things in the name of God. Now, UBF wants to change or not, that's up to them. And to be honest, I can care less if they change. But I do wish that there'll be an official letter or official video acknowledging that abuse did happen. In this video, it's not just me coming forth, but also a hope that those who are afraid to speak out, those who have done something wrong or guilty, may be willing to find courage to let it out, to have a heart to confess, who are no longer carrying such a burden on their shoulders, in their hearts, who no longer keep that weight pulling them down on their shoulders, in their chest. I hope this video encourages those. I talk about both current members and ex-members, not just only ex-members. Current members, that they may come forward, not necessarily to their UBF leaders, but rather publicly, or to a counselor, or to the proper authorities whenever such horrendous crimes happen. Otherwise, UBF is no better than Jehovah's Witnesses. I would be no better than Jehovah's Witnesses if I were to just keep this secret much longer. Because there was a case where, the article, I'll link it in the description below, but basically it's revealed that Jehovah's Witnesses have a whole archive, a whole library archive of cases where Jehovah's longtime members have abused children, and Jehovah's Witnesses have never reported such crimes to the authorities. And I believe that this may also be the case with UBF, where there's many cases of molestation, child abuse, incest, suicide that's happened in UBF, but it goes unreported. Or if it is recorded or documented, it's never revealed to the proper authorities, to professionals who can really solve such cases, help people who truly need those help. And keeping this for so long was because for a long time, and current members can relate to this too, they do have this irrational fear of man. And I realize that such a fear makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense for me to have such a fear anymore. And this is me kind of finally letting myself go of fear of men. Yes, this was a depressing video. But it had to be done, in one form or another. And the thing was, my former shepherd, he didn't mention again. He never told me to be quiet about it or anything like that. I did not sign a NDA agreement, non-disclosure agreement, or nothing like that. And yet, by not speaking out to what he has done, I become just as guilty in a part of what happened. Please don't make the same mistake I did. If you see something that is blatantly, obviously horrendous, like child abuse, sexual abuse, or anything that's heinous in UBF, report it to the authorities. You could do it anonymously, or you could tell your counselor, go to a counselor and tell them about how you feel, or therapist, or go to some professional help. But don't condone it by not saying anything. I made that mistake. I don't want anyone else to make that mistake again. This is Eric Navas, and I'm signing off. Until next time.